What's going on, traders? How we doing out there? Let's get right to the market. As you can see, it's been choppy, but dare we say we actually have a rally going here, even though we're getting nothing but choppy talk from the Fed. You guys can see the cues here with a nice little push higher. And it's interesting, right? Because we've been getting mixed signals from the Fed all week long, whether it came from Bosick, whether it was Bullard, whether it was all different types of Feds giving either a dovish, hawkish tone. And then Jerome Powell even coming in today and pushing back on the market's expectation for an aggressive interest rate cuts ahead. It's saying that it would be premature to conclude with confidence that we've achieved a sufficiently restrictive stance or to speculate on when the policy might ease. So, two negatives there telling you that I need to see sufficiently restrictive, not just restrictive, and then telling you that, hey, guys, what's all this speculation? Why traders would want to think that it's going to flip immediately, but the truth is, I don't see it happening. All right, whatever, guys. How we doing out there? Where's good old Money Mitch? You need to do some streaming consulting for your old buddy, beginner trading. He had his stream hella jacked up. Oh man, I got to go ahead and hit him up. Issues here. I might actually have to get my show down here. Sorry about that, guys. The internet is unstable right now, at least on my side. Let me know, guys, if you guys hear me cutting out. It's me, Mystery. And normally, you guys know I do a show at this time all the time, but my connection's coming in and out. Let me try to close everything and see if I can get this to keep working today. Normally, I have perfect connection here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to close some things here to see if I can get this to start working for us. All right, let me see if I can get this to start working here. All right, there you guys see it. A little bit better now connection. Just give me 1 second, guys. I'm closing up everything back here. All right, let's keep going, team. I just got this back. Are we shorting Comcast? Not yet, Coyote. And we'd short Spectrum, not Comcast on this one. But hey, Charter, as they call it. So we'll see. Charter's going up. So be careful on that one. All right, guys. I think I got it fixed here. I think we should have some decent internet now. Let's keep moving. Man, there's nothing like a struggling internet to kind of throw you off. Let's get back to the market here. Welcome to Start Swing Trade, where we talk about the market and everything that happened in the intraday. We can talk a little bit about my trading action. Wasn't the best today. Definitely a little frustrated as the chop got me a little bit today. But as you guys can see, we just had a recent rally. You got Jerome Powell saying negative things in the market, saying that, pushing back on market expectations for interest rate cuts and things like that. So, but either way, we actually got an up move today. And that's where it gets confusing, right? A lot of conflicting noise in the market right now. We're up there to 458s, 89s on the SPY. If you take a look at what led the day, guys, real estate actually leading the way to the upside. Let's talk a little bit about these moves and maybe catch some of the bigger boys, right? You can see PLD, Prologis. Look at the rip there, guys. This is how sometimes a move can go unsaid. And most people probably aren't talking about PLD today, but look at that move. Look at the move in American Tower lately and Equinox getting a nice little Nice little lift there. CCI, Crown Castle. So many stocks starting to push back. Even PSA, they got hit on their earnings, are starting to come back. Just doesn't look like this is really a negative area right now. The REITs are getting a big spike. Another thing that got a big spike today was basic materials. Don't know if you guys saw that, but big spike in copper today. Of course, FCX, SCCO are some stocks you can look at in that space. You also got lumber pushing higher. That's interesting to catch. You got metals finally getting a little bit of a lift here. BHP, Rio continuing to the upside. That's going to be including like a tech, TECK. This looks like it had a really good day, at least filled the gap and now starting to hold here. But interesting to see some of even the lithium names finally get a little bit of a pop back. Silver has been hot as of late. Coal getting a nice little push. Steel strong. It just looks like we're having a really nice run there in basic materials. Then you take a look at your cyclical names. These go up and down with the way the market moves. But look at the department store run today. Macy's big push up here, now continuing to the 17s. Who was talking about Macy's down here, guys, earlier in the month before we even had this big pop? KSS was one that I was talking about it before this happened. And this is why we need to be staying with their seasonality sometimes. Look at XRT today, up there to 66.81. I was playing this at 59, and this is why sometimes I need to be able to hold a little bit more, even learn from my swing trading action and keeping the XRT throughout this period, through the Black Friday time, because I did have some good gainers in the XRT, right? I took like a nice 7-8%. But missing out on this recent move and really getting some of these stocks to continue higher. So these retail names having a decent day there, guys. DG having a pretty decent day. You got Tractor Supply continuing to rip to the upside. Look at the move from Best Buy. So this is what we talk about with kind of the Santa Claus rally, right? And it's not just one name, right? Like I don't want to just put it to one name. Look at Ulta, guys. We were talking about this at 390s when this was back down on November 13th. And look at the move that that one put in. I was able to sell this swing today. So this is the most positive trade from this experience, as I was able to even get one share up there towards 470s. And I mean, you can't be mad about that, right? I mean, that's what we're looking for, guys. You guys can also see Starbucks starting to catch a little bit of a dip buy. This is actually something that I'd maybe take a look into for the end of the year. A little bit of a Starbucks rally, maybe. And that's not a bad one to keep in mind. Look at Airbnb go right now. What a move in leisure, guys. What a breakout there, guys. Are we seeing American Airlines? Oh, now you want to make the move, man. I was in this for literally, it felt like weeks. And man, finally now making that move to 13, probably going to fill this gap. Airlines getting a nice little big push. All right, we'll see what happens if we can continue to catch some of these leisure names. Sorry about that. Was dealing with a little bit of a Slack message there, but Carnival also going. So the leisure stocks just pushing up today. That's interesting to find out. That Hilton reversed back to the upside? Let's take a look here. Yeah, big push up there in those names. So interesting to see these names continuing to push, guys. So definitely need to keep watch here, but not a bad day overall. Retail names just continuing to push. Dick's Sporting Good. Guys, we were talking about this one right here on the setup. Right here, we were looking at this one on the 28th, created it on that day for the specific run back towards the highs. Look at it, take out the highs. Of course, this one had earnings. It came out, it had a pop, came back to support. Really nice move back up towards the 138s. I hope somebody was able to play that Dick's Sporting Goods. And we talked about how there were certain Black Friday sales on sporting goods that only happened during this time, right? And I also talked about it with kind of new baseball bats coming out. Ryan Faluna told me on live trading that this is also the time where they bust out the new golf clubs. Well, there you guys see it. Dick's Sporting Good with a nice little rip higher. How you title today's chop action? Laugh out loud. I just been pumping pow heaven today. Hey, it's still chop overall for the week. This is why I wanted to call it the chop, right? Because look at where we are overall on the Qs, right? We've been going kind of sideways here. The SPY's been coming up, but the Qs haven't really gone anywhere from the 20th. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of an up move in the intraday, but overall for the week, where did we really go? Pretty much nowhere in the Qs. The SPY, a little bit better, right? A little bit continued climb there, but that just shows me rotation. That just shows me that they're rotating into different areas in the market, like financials, basic materials going higher, right? Even we saw it right now. Leisure plays getting a nice little lift. That's when we start seeing that nice rotation going to different sides of the market. That's when you see the SPY continuing and the Qs kind of hanging in there, because technology is not necessarily where they're loading the boat right now. They're looking to bring the other sectors up. And then I will expect to eventually see a nice little next rally in technology, but we got to keep watching. All right, let's keep going. We can take a look at different stocks. So you guys keep throwing them up there, and we're doing kind of like a weekly review. So if you guys catch any move that you guys want to talk about, please let me know. And if my connection starts to give out on me, you guys also let me know if I start to get a little choppy. All right, we'll see what happens here. We're definitely battling, but technology is still in the green today. Overall, everything was green, but the week was a little bit confusing. At least I feel like Microsoft still down on the day. That's interesting to see that. It is starting to come back a little bit, but really kind of on the pullback. Nvidia was one that I was trying to play right here for this rip. Eventually, I got stopped out on this wick, which was a little frustrating because it did rip higher. But that's just how it goes sometimes, team. Closing up here. Now we're starting to decline a little bit pretty quickly here. So we'll see what happens. Will people want to stay long throughout the weekend? Netflix declined today, and that's actually interesting to catch. I was talking about wondering if this one was going to start to fall because Disney was falling, and I could expect to see Disney fall a little bit further. We'll see what happens on that one. That one came down a little bit today. They did reinstate their their biannual dividend. It's not quarterly. I know that CNBC got that one wrong, but hey, it happens, team. Tesla coming back a little bit today is an interesting stock. Of course, they had their Cybertruck event. We were talking about that yesterday. That's actually hanging in there. Industrials, though, taking off here, guys. Boeing with a big move up. Even railroads made a big move up. Look at this UNP. You're not going to see many times where you see that make that kind of move. Caterpillar going right back to the upside. That tells me to maybe start taking a shot on Deere if I really feel like the XLI can really get moving here. We'll see what happens if Deere can fill this gap to the upside, but not a bad day overall for these names. A lot of big moves here. Look at this railroad move, man. You don't see these railroads make this type of move. That's a big push there. 3.9% there in a railroad. I mean, hey. Do I have access to imbalances? Yes, I do, Glades, but I'd have to pull up my brokerages here to kind of give you that. It would just take a little bit of my focus away. But if you have a specific stock, I could take a second there. Okta, let's take a look there, Wally. Okta, of course, one of the laggards that we were talking about. If it could get through the 74, it would actually look good. And so this one actually went back down towards the support, just bounced off of it. And now we're really getting that strength back up towards the 73s. Well, there you guys have it. One that gave an interesting report that really wasn't bad, but hasn't partaken in the rally. These are the type of technology names I think that could get a lift, while the other ones go sideways here in a little bit of a lull. So Okta definitely in play, especially even to just come up here towards a fill, like maybe 76. So I would look for a little bit of a pullback on this. But like always, guys, you guys determine when you want to jump in. Look at the move today on the hourly chart. Big move up. And so now at this point, what can I look for? I want to see it take out that 73.39s. Maybe you can pull it a little bit closer, 73.28s. You're looking for a push. I would look into at least above 74, then a little bit of a pullback for me to try to get in a pullback entry. But what a hot day there for Okta. PayPal. Let's go to some of these names. And I don't mind taking names from you guys because at the end of the day, I'm here for you guys. I keep up with all this action, all the stocks in the market. So if you guys see anything you want to talk about, throw them up. All right. Let's take a look. I'll take a look at those Bitcoin miners for you, Lucas. Just stick around. PayPal getting up there to 59.55. I was taking a look at this one as I was seeing Square lift so much, right? Square has really taken off, and that told me to keep your eye on PayPal because it could start playing catch up. And I think that this one actually doesn't look bad. You got that inverse head and shoulders here on the bottom, clear inverse head and shoulders, really starting to get back up. Neckline going to be important to break and hold. And you got that this last day, literally, where you just made that nice little push back. It came back. Now you're clearing that. Now I'd look for pullbacks to 59 and 58.50 to hold. But this actually looks pretty clear for a little bit of some takeoff. And with that being said, take a look at Visa and how that's strong right here. MasterCard starting to get some strength back, and this has come back pretty fast. So could these really get going? Yeah, they really could. And Goldman Sachs continuing, guys. I wanted to ride this one up earlier in the week, but and it's funny, Wally. It's interesting sometimes. I just got that price alert on Okta of going through that level, the resistance right there. So good call out there. But yeah, PayPal definitely some to watch. Carvana and USO. Well, USO is just kind of going to be on your oil. I don't really like this one. I don't trade the USO pretty well. I look at other oil names. I'd look at like XLE, Chevron, because sometimes the USO just goes against it, and it's just kind of it really makes me shake my head sometimes. I'm looking to see if oil wants to actually make the up move or not. I know Oxy is definitely affecting it, and it's down there towards 58.86. I think this one could drag the sector overall right back down. Deals that were talked about on this one were rumors. We'll see if it actually goes through on the deal. All right, let's keep going. We'll go to different areas here. Let's take a look at, of course, we talked about some consumer cyclical stocks. You guys can see the leisure definitely leading there. Recreational vehicles. I mean, let's just be honest, guys. For these to be the stocks that are going up, do we really feel that boats are going to be where it's at next year? No, let's just be honest. And this is how confusing sometimes the market can be. Because I'll tell you right now, this looks like a really good short eventually for me if this can keep riding high. I don't think people are going to be buying their Malibu boats next year, but hey, to each his own, right? You seeing Harley having a good day today. You're seeing even some of these kind of like Winnebago stocks having a decent day. It's interesting to see these types of stocks really getting a push. Apparel stores, though, continuing, and that's actually a hot trade there. Foot Locker having a decent week there. You guys can know we've talked about this one for a while now, guys. Look where Victoria's Secret is now, guys. What I was trading this thing in the 18s. Talked about this even yesterday. Victoria's Secret almost up there to $30. This is what you call seasonality at play. Santa Claus coming early for Victoria's Secret and continuing to rip higher. You can see it on Lulu. Look at all these names that were in the green today, guys, and pushing strong. Urban pushing strong. Why? Zoomies even pushing strong. The retail trade is hot right now. GPS is just taking off, guys. Hibbett Sports, Lulu, BKE. This is why I was looking for the seasonality to come into play. Even AEO, they got killed on their earnings, almost back to the top. This is why it's so important to stay with kind of these types of plays. I mean, think about it. We could have taken a play in so many of these names and made a monster return. Not bad at all, especially looking into seasonality. And it has a tendency of coming into play towards November and December. And you guys see it. Really nice takeoff there. We'll see if these can continue riding high. Nike's been one I've been talking about since 100. That's up to 113 now. What a nice play. All right, let's keep going. Let's see what else is going on. And it's always fun to take a look at the action in the market. So if you guys have any name, keep them going here, team. Let's go towards some other ones. Even Wolf up 17%. That just goes to show you guys we're definitely getting those lifts. And Carvana actually falls into the cyclical names. So it has a tendency of going with the seasonality also. And I'm sure you're probably going to see some kind of deals coming from that. But definitely Really interesting day there. A lot of stocks getting that nice little push. You look in the XRT. Let's take a look at some of the bigger names there. You see Carvana with a nice 15%. Foot Locker, man, Macy's is just a freaking monster move today. Etsy even with a big push up. Sally's Beauty Supplies pushing. Man, a lot of these names. Look at the Academy Sports rip. I'm missing out on some of these, man. And I should have continued to watch some of these retail trades. I took some really nice gains, but then I stopped watching it. I think that's where I made a mistake. Like always, I'm going to tell you guys when I was hot, when I was not. Also, call out my mistakes. Let's keep going. Let's take a look at some other names here. What else is making a move up and what else we could play here? Gambling, even making a move, man. I mean, there's really not many things that are red. And this just tells me more and more how we're just in a kind of everything kind of rally, at least lately for the Q4. And this is going to go ahead and leave the room for next year to really kind of turn things to the downside. But for right now, hey, things are looking great, at least in the industries and the sectors, because you can see that in the sectors how we've just come off the ground in a lot of different areas. And the ones that are leading right now to the upside, like financials, industrials, just go to show me that the rotation was so heavy this week. We didn't go down. Why? Because they're rotating. They're rotating from some of those technology names and taking maybe a little bit of profit going into some of these financials as they push for the end of the year. And they have. I mean, you can't say that they haven't. So really nice move there in some of these stocks. All right, let's keep going. What else has been making? Oh, Clean Spark. All right, let's get to those miners. Clean Spark was one that I called out very early on live trading. It was just starting to rip, and it was early on in the day. We're talking probably the 650 spot, about 10 a.m. And this just continued hot. The miners getting the lift there. I'm glad I got out of my short on coin because, man, look at that Mara move. Even coin, I expect to see it higher there. It's up to 133 and kind of made it could have been a good thing that I got out of that coin right before the close yesterday because it is pretty high and would have definitely stopped me out today. Riot also continuing, right? I mean, man, I was watching these for a long time down here and it was long consolidation. But now that you have all the moving averages below the price action, that's really good look there for some of these miners. They can continue pushing. Hut even, man. Hut got a lift just today, guys. So if you're looking for a laggard in some of these mining stocks, well, here you have one of them. And then another one that usually lags is Hive. And there you guys see it. It's just starting to move. Doesn't look bad, especially if the other ones, the favorites like Mara, Riot, and Coin can keep going higher. All right, dips appear to be bought up, portfolio rebalancing at work. I agree. That has to do with a lot of what window dressing towards the end of the year. They want to be in the winners. They want to get rid of the losers. And another thing is they want to ride this rally into the end of the year and try to push the remaining like little bit of return that they can get so they can look good for the end of the year, of course. All right, thanks, Money Mitch. On you, sold today for 48% gain on some options. Hey, that's what it's all about, Kevin. I'm glad to hear you're able to nail that Unity. Unity is so interesting, and sometimes this gives you that kind of flip approach. There you guys see it, and what a nice little rip to sell into. I really like that you weren't greedy about this and were able to take the gains, right? Because let's just be honest. A lot of times when people start seeing this type of move, they think they can continue to get more and more and more. There's nothing wrong with taking gains. So power to you, Kevin. It's all on you, my friend. You made the trade. If I was able to put it on the radar, hey, that I'll definitely give myself a little pat on the back. But at the end of the day, you did the execution, my friend. So give yourself a great pat on the back and keep going, man. That's what it's about. ARKK names really getting a lift today, and that just shows you risk on, right? Unipath. Look at the rip there, guys. Kathy's going to be loving this because this is one of her largest positions, and it just continued hot. Hourly pullback towards around 22. I talked about it this morning. Could it do a red to green going towards 22? Exactly what it essentially did out the gates. You guys can see it here on the 5-minute. A little bit of some downside action. It came up, it pulled back down and went red for just a second here. And then look how the candle closed. It closed all the way back above the 23s. It tried to get down there to that 22, right back up there. Really nice move there for some of the Kathy names. Even this RXRX is starting to make its way back for all those penny stock players that like this type of play. Look at that kind of loading up there. Doesn't look too bad. DNA coming back, Archer. So many of these kind of risk on type of plays having a really big move. And so this is something definitely to keep your eyes on. Even Zoom. Look at Zoom pushing up there to the 70s. That just goes to show you guys. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is going on in the markets. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. It's 3:59. Let's go back to the Qs here and see how we're closing. Looks like we're getting a pretty decent close here as we didn't get much pullback. Of course, we had those negative and flips from kind of the Fed outlook. You got to continue watching the Fed outlook because that's going to tell us if we're going to continue getting this kind of bull market approach. If we are actually going to cut rates in spring, then that can keep this rally alive. And I think that that's what we saw earlier in the week that really sparked the market and kept it higher. Then you got some dovish comments or some hawkish comments from different Feds that we're talking about that, you know, we could still raise interest rates. Jerome Powell saying today to, like, you know, calm the horses, guys. We could always raise rates. And this is something that we need to keep in mind because the truth is, if you're looking for investments and not necessarily just short-term day trading or short-term swing trading, really need to start thinking about what's coming in 24 so that we can get ahead of the monetary policy outlook and the fiscal policy outlook. I'll be here like always, guys. Money Mitch here to help you guys, of course, get through the markets because it's not easy. Today, yes, we did go up, but overall, like I mentioned, for the week, pretty choppy. So what does that do? Well, sideways action does give the ability for the bulls to load into different sectors and continue the rally. Do I expect this rally to end anytime soon? At least in the next 3 weeks, I think we have room for more upside. Then we'll take a look as we get towards the end of the year and going into 2024. Up next, you guys, of course, can stick around and check out some cannabis action. We'll actually, no, today is actually a really good idea to bring up, not just only cannabis that's coming up on the next stream, but you also will be getting some psychedelics talk. Do you guys know the stock that is Cybin? Let me know in the chat. Does anybody know Cybin? Cybin recently just put out some report. Of course, they're talking some psychedelics. We're talking some cheaper names. That's coming up next. So don't miss that, guys. This will get you right over to that. So if you guys want to check that interview out with the CEO of Cybin, they're actually going to be talking about the latest data that they put out with on DMT. So that's going to be pretty interesting. That's coming up next. Don't go anywhere, team. I will bring you guys over to that. Redirect is set here. So that starts at 4:10. You don't want to miss that, team. Smash the like. I'll see you guys over there. All right. We'll see you guys next time. And don't forget, no triple D liquidity next week. We'll have to find out how that goes. It's always good to be seeing you guys. Been waiting for Cybin to move. Hey, keep your eyes on it. Like always, there's new investments. I think it's always important to understand the trials if you're going to invest in biotechs. So if you want to hear from the CEO himself, just catch it right here, of course, on Benzinga. And of course, where does this come from? The Dales Report team and our collab. So smash that like, guys. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Like always, stay safe. Enjoy the weekend if you're going to get out of here. And like always try to up the skills. Learn something new with your trading skills, right? Maybe it's an indicator. Maybe it's a little bit on story. Right now, I think it's an important outlook to be thinking about investments, longer term, 3 months, 6 months. How are we looking going into 24?